Now with that one, I did plan. This was a couple years ago. This is an example of making sure I planned and had everything ready to go. My mom had more mobility about 2 years ago, and when we went to Portugal, but I planned just in case if something should happen to her pill dispenser. What if it gets jammed? What if the power goes out? What if it loses Wi Fi? Who knows? Because she had a fancy pill dispenser at the time. And I planned ahead and put together 2 weeks worth of not vitamins, well, vitamins too, but medications. And I put them in a very specific place in her room. And I got a call one day, halfway through the vacation. I got a call from the physical therapist who was visiting her, who had my number. She said, Lexie, something's going on with her meds, with her pill dispenser. I don't know what to do. I said, in this location, behind some things in her, underneath her sink, is a box with 2 weeks worth of medication. Put it out for her, and I can reach out to the staff at her assisted living and they can help her with her medication. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe that I had planned for this to happen. Hi everyone, I'm Lexie Callies. Do you feel the squeeze of caring for an elderly loved one and school-aged children? Then welcome to the Sandwich Stories. Let's dig in. Hiya, hi everybody. It's Lexie Callies with Sandwich Stories. I am hoping you are having a really great day, and I am going to be talking about traveling again. We started this series last week about how to start thinking about traveling with your loved one. This time I'm going to talk about something a little harder, and sometimes it's about not traveling with your loved one. My mom has been a worldwide traveler her whole life. Luckily, as a child, her father was a pilot for TWA and was able to travel all over the world. She was able to go places and do things that most people her age didn't get to do because, in the 50s and 60s, being able to get on a plane was a big deal. And so she was able to do all of these things. They traveled regularly from Chicago to Scottsdale so they could thaw out for the winter, as my grandfather would say. Um, then, as she got older, she traveled. She spent half of her time in college in Europe, and she traveled all over the world. She lived in Israel. She's lived in France. She's lived in Greece. Um, she's been to every continent except for Antarctica, and that was supposed to be a trip she was going to be doing with my son, but she's just not going to be able to. And it's really hard for her and disappointing because she feels like she's letting him down because she felt as if she promised him that she would take him to see penguins and go to Antarctica and live his little dream of seeing penguins live in the wild. And she's not going to be able to do it. So we try to make the best. Traveling with my mom is not easy. I am her main caretaker. And when we go on vacation, I want to be on vacation too. So, with that said, I have to make really hard decisions about if my mom is going to go on vacation with us. If I'm going to put her on a plane, if I'm going to get a rental house that has everything that she needs, or a hotel that has everything she needs, am I going to put the effort into that, knowing that I'm still going to have to take care of her all the time? I know this is something that some people can relate to when it comes to traveling with infants and toddlers. Who's going to take care of them? Who's going to make sure they get what they want? And, um, you know, it's just not easy. So I have had to battle this thought of, do I take her knowing that it's going to be work, or do I live with some guilt knowing that I will go on vacation without her and I will have a great time. That's what I have to decide. I have to weigh the pros and cons of both. My husband always feels bad when we have come home from vacation with my mom and I am just spent. I have not had a great time. I had not had a time to relax because I have to get up by 7 o'clock in the morning to get her meds. I have to help her get dressed for the day. I have to make sure if we're down at the beach house, then that we've rented, then I have to make sure if she doesn't come down to the water with us, then I have to make sure at 10 o'clock I'm back upstairs and making sure she has her medication. Yet again, does she need to go to the bathroom? Does she need a snack? Does she need all these things? It's just a lot of work. And so I've tried to come up with things that I thought we could do as a family that might not be as much work. But still, it's the same thing. And my husband looks at me and he said, I am 100% behind you if this is what you want to do with your mom. If you want to bring her along and you want to take her and we plan a trip where she gets to come and spend time with us, that's great. He said, but know that this will not be vacation for you. And you have to decide, do you want to spend the money and do you want to spend the time knowing that you will come home wiped out, grumpy, maybe snippy with your mom, and just maybe won't have a great time and look back at that time and say, ugh, that was just an okay vacation. Vacations are supposed to be fun. My mom always told me vacations are supposed to be fun. You go, you do everything, you see everything, you buy what is that location is known for, and you bring it back as a souvenir and you move on to the next location. So for her, there's really no going back to places because there's too many places to see in the world. And I kind of agree with her. There really are. Um, the only place that my family we visit every single year is the Emerald Coast of Florida. It's in the Panhandle and the Gulf side of Florida, and we go there every year for a week. And my parents went along with us. My mom would bring my dad. I would bring my mom, a couple years ago, and last year just was the first year that I didn't take her, and it was a really nice time. In all honesty, I had a great time. Now, did I worry about her being at home? Yes, she's in assisted living. She has people caring for her. And when I do go away, I really prep to make sure that she has everything she needs. But I still worry about her. I make sure, did I leave enough of this? Did I leave enough of that? Is she going to be okay? What if she falls? How am I going to get home? If we drove to the beach, then I have to be able to get on the plane and get back to her. These are all the things I have to think about. And if I go without her, I can kind of put it aside and have a great time with my family and focus on us and have a break. But there are times where I still worry about her. I do get a phone call. She'll call me wondering when I'm going to be home. Is everything okay? We do try to call her as much as possible just to check in to make so that she knows we're okay because she does worry about us. That's the other thing. My mom is so afraid of something happening to us while we're away. And she has told me that she's like, if something happens to you or Shannon, I'm left alone. And who's going to take care of me? And that is heartbreaking to hear. So I have to weigh the pros and cons. When I do choose to go away without her, the week before I go away, I make sure she has everything she needs. I double check with all the nurses. Does she need any refills on medication so I can make sure I get it in time? Does she have all the clean laundry she needs? Yes, now where she is, they do laundry, but I just make sure I don't have anything at my house that I have washed that she might need. I make sure that she has a jacket if it gets cold while we're away and they go outside, that she has a coat so she can go outside. Have I washed all her sweaters? Are they dried? Do I need to bring them back? My mom has to wear like a depends pull up, and I make sure that she has at least 5 for every day that I am gone. She doesn't need that many, but I am such a worrier that what if she did? So if I'm gone for 7 days, I make sure she has 35 ready to go, and no one has to worry about them or wonder where they are or what to do. I am just that person. And I make sure everybody knows that I will be gone and when I will be back. I write it on the calendar on her wall so that she knows, but then any caretaker can look at it. I also group text the head of the 2 lead nurses for her assisted living. And I also include in the text the social worker who works at her assisted living. I let them know when I'm going to be gone, when I'm going to be back, that they can reach me at any time. Um, and then I just feel that everybody's on the same page. And that way, if she ever wonders or says anything, they can tell the staff that I'm gone. And if she questions anything or gets worried, that they can reassure her that Lexie's gone. She'll be okay. She'll be back. And I am always there the next day. I normally need a day to recover and to just get all the laundry done from vacation. But then the next morning, I go to her place the next morning. I bring her a latte because that's her favorite. And we sit and chat. I normally bring my son along so he can tell his Grammy everything that he did and show her all the pictures and talk about all the best things that he did while we were away. And it's okay to have that time with my family. I would love to bring my mom. The one trip I have recently seriously thought about doing with my mom is like a Disney cruise. It's so family oriented. She wouldn't have to get off the boat. They have, I wouldn't have to worry about elevators or uh, they have rooms that she could use that are wheelchair accessible. And I know that there are plenty of people who go with their loved ones, their elderly loved ones, and they all have a great time. So this is something I have seriously thought about. My son is about to be 13, so I'm hoping that maybe he is not too old to go. I have talked to friends. They've said that 13 is still a good age to go on a Disney cruise. They all have a great time. So this is something I have seriously thought about doing. And yet again, my husband has said, that's great. We can do this, but are you going to have a good time? Are you going to miss out on excursions to stay with your mom? So then the question is, do I factor into the cost of bringing along a caretaker? Kind of like if you had a nanny come along with you and your loved ones on vacation to help take care of the kids so that you can also enjoy your time away. Um, which I've thought about. I have. I really thought about it. What it would cost, what I would need. I have thought about having 2 rooms, one for my mom and a caretaker, and another room for my husband, son, and I to share. And maybe they could be adjoining, and I could have someone who could help me with my mom. So if I wanted to go on an excursion, I could, but my mom could still have someone to help take care of her, take her out by the pool, get her a ice cream, maybe to see one of the shows. They wouldn't have to get off the ship. Or if my husband and I want to have a late night dinner, um, she would still be taken care of. And I would still be there to help take care of her, and the caretaker could have their time off. It would be a vacation for them too. But it's really just the nighttime and excursions that I would have really thought about hiring someone to come along. I do know people have done it. They said it was a game changer. They were able to enjoy everybody and everything they did, and they weren't as worried um, about their loved one. And so it's been in the back of my mind about having this be a solution so that my mom could go on vacation with us and I could still have a good time and not be so stressed out. But the guilt is real. The guilt is real when it comes to leaving your loved one at home, especially my mom who has traveled the world. My husband and son and I like to travel the world too. Um, Luckily, my husband works for an airline and we play the game of standby. So that allows us to be able to go places around the world that we normally wouldn't have been able to afford. So we play that game. We're willing to play the game. But then when I tell my mom, hey, we're going to try and go to Portugal, and she hadn't been to Portugal yet, and she's always wanted to go. And she's like, oh, I would really love to go. I've always wanted to go there. And I can't take her because believe me, Portugal is not wheelchair friendly. We went for 2 weeks. We covered the whole entire country, and it is not very wheelchair friendly. So that would not have been a good fit for my mom regardless. They have a lot of cobblestones and a lot of stairs, and not all of Europe has the same regulations we do in the United States when it comes to disabilities and people in wheelchairs. So that was really hard. Now, with that one, I did plan. This was a couple years ago. This is an example of making sure I planned and had everything ready to go. My mom had more mobility about 2 years ago, and when we went to Portugal, but I planned just in case if something should happen to her pill dispenser. What if it gets jammed? What if the power goes out? What if it loses Wi-Fi? Who knows? Because she had a fancy pill dispenser at the time. And I planned ahead and put together 2 weeks worth of not vitamins, well, vitamins too, but medications. And I put them in a very specific place in her room. And I got a call one day, halfway through the vacation. I got a call from the physical therapist who was visiting her, who had my number. She said, Lexie, something's going on with her meds, with her pill dispenser. I don't know what to do. I said, in this location, behind some things in her, underneath her sink, is a box with 2 weeks worth of medication. Put it out for her, and I can reach out to the staff at her assisted living and they can help her with her medication. She couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe that I had planned for this to happen. And I'm glad that I did. I'm glad I could think of every scenario because that's the person I am. When it comes to my mom, I think of plan A, B, C through Z. And what the contingencies are and how to make it all work and how to make it easy for everybody who helps take care of her. And this was one of the times I had thought of that. I was like, okay, just in case I'm going to be gone, I'm going to be out of the country. I can't get there quickly. What if this happens? I have to be prepared. And I was. And it worked out great. I was able to get a hold of the staff. They were able to help her for the rest of 1 week with, with her medication, and she was good to go. But I had it ready to go. And that comes along with being a good caretaker and I guess just making sure my mom has everything she needs. That's who I am. I make sure she has everything she needs. Now, this couple weeks ago, over Christmas break, my husband said, hey, flights look open and really good. Let's go to Brazil for 5 days. I said, all right, let's do it. What did I do? I told everybody at my mom's assisted living, I'm going away. I will be leaving. The flight leaves at 7 p.m. this day. I should be back and be able to by 1 o'clock on this day, and I will definitely be there to see her the next morning. But so they all knew that was good. I let the nurses know I'll be gone. I put it on her calendar. I made sure all of her depends and everything were ready to go. And I told her, I said, Mom, you can call me anytime you need me. It's not a problem. I will have service. Give me a call. And I told everybody else there, I said, it is a longer flight to get home, but if you need me and it's an emergency, I will be back. I will get on a plane and I will come back. My husband and son can come back at the end of the vacation and I will see them later. So we did the trip. We had a great time. My son got to, his favorite thing in the world was go see the Iguazu Falls, which is similar to Argentina and Brazil's uh, Niagara Falls. He thought it was like being in Jurassic Park and being on the edge of the world. It was such a great vacation, and we had a really great time. And I did, in the back of my mind, I was like, "Oh, am I going to call for my mom?" And I did not. I came home the next day. The day after I came home, my son and I went to go visit her. We brought her her latte, and the one I said, "Mom, we had a great time." And she said, "Did you notice I didn't call you?" I said, "Yep, you didn't, but you could have if you wanted to." She said, "I know, but I didn't. I was fine," which was such a reassuring statement from my mom. It says that she's comfortable where she is. I've made the right choices and that she's well cared for. She didn't think she had to call me. Like the little bird flying the nest. Now, the next time, who knows? She could call me every single day wondering what's going on and when I'm coming back. But for this time, I'm going to take the win. She was comfortable. We had a great time and she was happy we went. Now, I think part of the reason why she was happy we went is because she has been to Brazil. She's been to the same places. So for her, she didn't need to go back. She wasn't jealous. She was just super excited that we got to see the same thing she saw back in the day. We did not get to stay at the same hotel she stayed at. Um, she asked us, we said, no, we can't afford that hotel, but it was great. So I was really excited for that. But these are the things when it comes to your loved ones and traveling that you have to think about. Are you going to do the work? Are you going to bring them along? Are you going to have a little bit of guilt and leave them behind? I don't know. I still weigh those pros and cons every day. And I'm still working on a vacation to get my mom out and about and get her on a plane. She told me the other day too, she said, I have not been on a plane in so long. I've gone longer without being on a plane in my whole entire life now than I ever have, ever, which says a lot. Yeah. So think about that. Um, Vacations are for the family and they're there to rejuvenate you and for you to have fun. And I want you all to have fun on your vacation. But how are you going to have the fun? Are you going to have the fun with some work because you're the one who's being the sole caretaker of your family member? Are you going to have the fun and bring somebody along to help be there specifically for your loved one? Or are you going to have fun and leave your loved one behind? Um, you have to do what's best for you. And it's okay that you choose to go without your loved one. I want everybody to know that. It's okay. They want you to have a good time. And everybody who loves you wants you to have a good time. You shouldn't be left out of the good times just because you're a caretaker. I know that's really hard to do. I've been there, but it really does rejuvenate you to get away, to not worry, and to come back and share some great memories with your loved one because they do want you to be happy. And caretaker burnout is real. So take the time. If you choose not to go with your loved one, they will be fine and you will be fine and you will be grateful for the time you've had with your family. Okay. So, with that said, song of the week. All right. So, this band I love so much. It definitely has a Marvin Gaye feel to it. They are out of California. It's called The Sacred Souls. They have a song out. They have a lot of songs that I love so much. But the song of this week is Live for You. These sacred souls live for you. It really is about loving yourself, standing on your own 2 feet, and that you can love others in your life and care for those others in your life only from the place in the heart, in your own heart, that you care and love for yourself. So you have to live for yourself. You have to live for you, because if you don't, you can't live for others. You can't love others. You can't care for others unless you do it for yourself. And you can only do it at the same capacity that you do for yourself. And it's true. It really is true. It's kind of like the adage, how are you supposed to love somebody if you can't love yourself? Right? So if you love yourself, you can love other people. If you like yourself, you can like other people. And you have to live for yourself. All right? So I hope you all get to love this jam. It's groovy. It's fun. The Sacred Souls is one of my top bands right now. I'm loving them so much. And it's such a throwback vibe. I love it. So live for yourself. Have a great time. Travel. Travel with your loved ones. Travel without them. It will be okay. Get out there, rejuvenate yourself, go on vacation, and have some fun. All right? I love you guys. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Sandwich Stories. I really hope you learned some new things and enjoyed it. If you did, tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your dad, tell everybody you know to also listen. Maybe they'll learn some new things, how to help each other out, and find us at Sandwich Stories Podcast. Thanks so much.